Okay, folks. Thanks for giving us your time this evening to allow us the ability to provide you some information about the Village of Waskatenau's proposed um, annexation of lands in Smoky Lake County. My name is Brad McDonald. I'm with Municipal Planning Services. Municipal Planning Services is a planning services provider that works with the Village of Waskatenau to help them with planning and land use matters. We also do the same thing for Smoky Lake County as well. We're the Smoky Lake County Subdivision Authority, and we help their planning staff and administration with development questions and day-to-day planning matters that as they arise. So we are, um, I guess, consultants to both the village and Smoky Lake County, but in this instance, we're assisting the village of Waskatenau with this proposed annexation. During the course of the presentation this evening, again, I'd like to welcome everyone for giving us your time. We'll be giving you some information about annexation in general, what it is, and how it differs from other processes involving land in Alberta. Some information about the history of annexations in the village of Waskatenau and Smoky Lake County, um, how the annexation process works in Alberta, and what the steps are for a municipality to propose an annexation of land into their boundaries. We'll give you some information about the proposed annexation area and what the purpose of this annexation is. We'll go through a summary of the feedback that we received at the in-person engagement last week, where we had some folks stop by the senior center to give us their feedback, and a summary of discussions between the county and the village on this topic and where that's leading to at this moment. So without further ado, annexation. Annexation is at its core a process where the boundaries of a municipality change to either incorporate, for one municipality in particular, to incorporate more land from an adjacent municipality. It's a tool used by municipalities to either accommodate growth in population within their boundaries. So in the case of a municipality that is growing, it provides them the ability to have land and area for future residential, commercial, industrial growth. It can be used to address matters related to servicing and access to ensure that transportation, water systems, wastewater systems have the ability to grow and service a municipality, so that that land base is available for those activities. It can be used to correct boundary errors and to fix is important or um, the future development of it would impact one municipality more than another. And an example of that would be if there was a site. I'm thinking of a few cases where, for instance, in a summer village near a lake, if there was a large piece of land that had the ability to be developed for a commercial node immediately adjacent to a summer village, potentially the summer village could apply to annex the land so that its development was in keeping with the summer village's expectations of how they would like to see growth and development occur within their area. But in the case of this proposed annexation, we're looking at an annexation that would allow the village of Waskatenau to accommodate future growth and population patterns, um, help the village address servicing and access issues, and give the village jurisdictional control over the subdivision and development of an area of importance. And in this case, it is lands near the intersection of the two major highways in the area. Annexation, just to clarify, it is not an amalgamation. An amalgamation would be if two municipalities join together to form one municipality. So this isn't the Village of Vilna and Smoky Lake County joining together to be one municipality. nor is it a dissolution of the village to become part of the county. It's not expropriation. Ownership of land does not change hands. If the village of Vilna was um, given an approval for this annexation by the province, land ownership does not change. It would just simply change the matter of addressing for folks within the proposed annexation area. And it's also not a decision of the municipalities involved. So it is not a decision of the Village of Wasetna if this is something that would go forward. It's not a decision of Smoky Lake County. At the end of the day, it is a decision of the province, specifically the Minister of Municipal Affairs and the rest of cabinet, via the Land and Property Rights Tribunal, which is a arm's length quasi-judicial um, entity of the province that decides upon land use and development matters that are brought before it. If a municipality was wishing to go through an annexation, to have an annexation application brought to the province, the process for that and the steps involved are identified in the Municipal Government Act. And the Municipal Government Act is a fairly lengthy act of the province, but all steps that a municipality would be looking to complete in order to bring forward an annexation application are included within it. And those steps aren't necessarily spelled out as very specific items, but it does cover broadly some things that a municipality should do before submitting their application. And that includes having discussions, negotiations, and agreements with the municipal entities involved. So having the Village of Wasetna and Smoky Lake County um, hold meetings, have discussions about what potential conditions may be needed in order for the application to go forward. There has to be public engagement and notification. The municipality that is initiating the annexation application has to submit a formal notice of intent to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal. And at the end of the day, they need to prepare a report or an application to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal that will outline all engagement meetings, negotiation agreements, basically the entire process needs to be spelled out in the application so that the province and the Land and Property Rights Tribunal have an understanding of um, what level of engagement has occurred and what potential concerns and objections there may be from landowners, area residents, or one or more of the municipalities um, at the heart of the annexation application. That application then gets reviewed by the Land and Property Rights Tribunal, who will come up with a recommendation that goes to the Lieutenant Governor and Council, and Cabinet will effectively make a decision as to whether the annexation application is successful or not. Some interesting information about Wasetna is that since the village was founded in the 1930s, there's been a few annexations. I was a little bit surprised to see some of these up here, but largely in the last several decades, there's been, I believe, about six applications and sorry, there's been about six applications and about five of them have been successful. And largely, these are smaller annexations that have dealt with individual 60s and into the 70s. You'll see a few of these applications that were successful that the province had granted. And these probably would be in the category of ensuring that service delivery to landowners in the area are within the municipality that is providing the service. So, in general, the annexation process is something like as follows. An annexation is considered by a council. So, in this case, the Council of the Village of Waskatenau, based on their recognition of having future growth requirements, servicing access matters, or jurisdictional matters. So, in this case, the council had decided that the village is in need of um, a land base to provide the village with the ability to grow to accommodate future residential, commercial, and other business growth. Right now, the village's existing land base, there just isn't the ability to um, plan for future growth in this matter, in a way that would enable the village to be sustainable in the long-term future. So that leads to the village proposing an annexation, providing notices to residents, and we'll cover how the initial notice went out, the affected municipality, in this case, Smoky Lake County, and affected landowners. Um, the municipality then consults with the affected landowners and community members, and referral agencies and the other municipality, and then provides the official notice to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal. So those are all the initial steps to the process. If if the proposed annexation is something that isn't contested, and by contested I mean either a landowner within the proposed annexation area, a community member, or in this case, Smoky Lake County, if there's an issue where this may be contested, the process is a little bit longer, and there is an option for the Land and Property Rights Tribunal to have a hearing at the end, to give everyone the opportunity to express their opposition or concerns, or what matters they're contesting at the end of the day. If it's an uncontested annexation application, and there have been those in the past, particularly when an annexation just involves a small number of parcels of land, everyone is on board with the proposed annexation. That can lead to an uncontested application, which has a bit more of a streamlined process. So, in the case of a contested annexation application, all the required application information, required application information and reports are provided to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal. They advertise for the proposed annexation, and by advertising, they advertise that there will be a hearing. And any persons, agencies, or municipalities can make submissions regarding the annexation for or against it. And this could be, again, landowners, the municipality, could be someone 3 or 4 provinces away who just has a very strong opinion about it. But in our experience, if the Land and Property Rights Tribunal hears any opposition whatsoever, usually they ended up reaching out to that person, and unless they're able to get an indication that those concerns have been addressed, they will have a hearing, and invite everyone to make testimony at that hearing. At the end of the day, once that hearing is done, the Land and Property Rights Tribunal prepares a report and recommendation to send along to the Minister of Municipal Affairs. And again, the Lieutenant Governor of Alberta considers the Land and Property Rights Tribunal reports, and at the end of the day, an order in council is written as to whether the annexation is approved in part, and by that I mean with conditions, or perhaps there's modifications to the application, or not approved at all. And then usually there is a period where there's an effective date. So if an annexation was approved by council today, typically they would be looking at it beginning, usually on like a July 1st, January 1st type of date. If an annexation application is uncontested, we just effectively remove that hearing process. So the application gets submitted The Property Rights Tribunal reviews it, feels that there isn't opposition to an application, and they move forward with just preparing the recommendation. So as part of our report application that will go forward at the end of the day, all feedback that we receive from the moment that the initial notice of intent was provided all the way to the day that the application is submitted, all feedback that we receive from residents will be included within that. So if there is anyone with concerns and objections, that will be included. Same for anyone with letters of support as well. So I hope I didn't make anyone fall asleep there. That just kind of covers what annexation is and what the process is. So again, at the end of the day, it's not a decision of the Village of Waskatenau or Smoky Lake County. There's a process that both municipalities need to kind of play out and bring forward to the province. The annexation area that the Village of Waskatenau is looking at covers lands to the north, west, and northwest of the Village of Waskatenau. Initially, the Village of Waskatenau was looking at lands to the west and to the north, and that was part of the original notice of intent sent to affected landowners and community members and Smoky Lake County and the Land and Property Rights Tribunal back in October of 2024. But since then, there have been landowners to the north of Highway 28 that have met with council and have asked to be part of this proposed annexation. So the annexation application has since been revised kind of midstream here to include those lands as well. But lands shown within the gray area are the proposed annexation area of as it stands today. Um, the majority of this area, as far as number of lots and portions of quarter sections here, have been identified for quite some time by both the village and the county as being a future annexation area. The map to the right is the Smoky Lake County and Village of Waskatenau Intermunicipal Development Plan Future Land Use Area Map. And an intermunicipal development plan is a long-range land use plan shared by two or more municipalities. And in this case, it's the village and the county that kind of spells out how both municipalities will plan for land use and development around effectively an urban area. And in this case, it's the village of Waskatenau. And so in this case, going back to about 2017, when this intermunicipal development plan was first adopted by both municipalities, um, lands to the north and to the west of the village have been identified for a range of commercial and residential uses. But both municipalities have identified that should the village have the need to grow in the future, that these would be essentially the first phase of what that annexation would potentially look like if needed. So incorporating the lands to the north of the highway as well, it seems to be a bit of a logical extension of the village's boundaries and something that the county and the village have both been kind of planning for the last several years. Um, in the intermunicipal development plan, it identifies that both municipalities recognize that annexation will occur from time to time in a positive, orderly, and timely manner when there is a clear need for the village to provide more land for urban development. And right now, the village has the opportunity with the new school site in the works, um, increased highway traffic coming from the Edmonton area and back and forth, the new traffic circle and just the knowing that there isn't an existing land base within the village for any future residential or business growth to help sustain the village. This is the need that the village is putting forward as what they need for future urban development growth within their boundaries. So Smoky Lake County has a municipal development plan which deals with um, uh, land use and development matters within their own boundaries. And within that municipal development plan, it indicates that the county will support, in general, annexation applications within their boundaries of urban municipalities. So, not just the Village of Waskatenau, but Town of Smoky Lake, Village of Vilna, that sort of thing. That they would support them, that they feel are required and justified. So they in that municipal development plan, it identifies core questions that the county needs to consider. Does the annexation proposal encompass lower capability agricultural lands? And if not, is the expansion onto high capability agricultural lands justified in light of existing growth direction options? In the village's opinion, this meets that question. Has the urban center planned its future land use and development through a municipal development plan or similar planning document? The village of Waskatenau has a municipal development plan that talks about the extension of future growth areas. Is the annexation required, or does the urban center have sufficient land within its boundaries to accommodate anticipated growth and development? At its current state, with its current boundaries, the village does not have the ability to accommodate future growth and development. So those questions that the Smoky Lake County has to look at themselves when determining whether an annexation should be considered. We feel that all of those questions have been successfully addressed by this application. So in summary, the purpose for this proposed annexation, the village feels that it's a logical extension of the village's boundaries. It would enable a the village to capitalize on future growth and development along the economic corridor of the two highways, and would give the village the ability to control future development patterns, servicing, and transportation connections adjacent to the village's built footprint. So it would give the village the ability to control what future development in that area would look like, and ensure that any development patterns in that area are contiguous and line up with the village's need for future growth patterns. So in October of 2024, when the village decided to formally pursue this annexation application, letters were sent to affected county landowners within the proposed annexation area, and as well county landowners adjacent to the proposed annexation area, which informed them of the village's submission of a notice of intent that this annexation application is something that they are bringing forward. It identified what the initial area of the proposed annexation area. Oh, sorry, that was just a bit confusing. What the initial annexation area was. So those two areas to the west and to the north of the village. So it showed that on a map. It indicated that in the future, the village would be looking to engage with landowners, heavy discussions about what the village's intent was and how it may impact or not impact landowners in the area. Just to stay tuned that there would be these opportunities in the future. The letters included answers to frequently asked questions about annexation. So a lot of the information that was just covered here now, but also some additional information that the province has for landowners within a proposed annexation area. As well, contact information for both the village and our office, Municipal Planning Services, should anyone have any questions about the proposed annexation. We sent those out back in October of 2024, and initially there was no feedback from any of the affected landowners or the landowners adjacent to the proposed annexation area, and that wasn't entirely surprising. Um, it was effectively just letters indicating that this was happening, and that there would be more information as the process rolled along. We were at a point where we were prepared to share any feedback that we received to the county as well, just through open and transparent dialogue with the county on this whole process. But having received none at that time, the village proceeded with meeting with the county to discuss their proposed any of their proposed conditions or issues that they had. At the same time, the village posted information about the proposed annexation on its website for residents and area community members to view. Um, so just covering engagement only at this point. Back in March, letters were sent out to affected landowners, village residents, and posted on the village's website and other means that the village was hosting an in-person open house, drop-in style, at the senior center. This was held last week. As well, the notice also included information about the meeting we're having tonight, the online version for anyone who was unable to attend in person last week or that just isn't locally in the area, that online is a better method of reaching folks. Um, so last week we had a drop in at the senior center. We had about 15 to 20 people in attendance, not including council and uh, administration and myself, municipal planning services. And it was an opportunity for folks to ask us questions, give their preliminary thoughts, and go home with some more information to consider. It, it, much like tonight, is not kind of the last step in engagement here. It's an opportunity for us to share with landowners and area residents what this process is and the purpose for it, and to go home and kind of consider if there's any additional questions or feedback that you want to share as we go along the process. Some of the feedback that we received at that time included information about or questions about how development processes are different in the village and the county. So if someone were to apply to have build a house in the county today, how that might be different if it were if the annexation were approved and they'd be looking to do it in the village. And largely those processes are very much identical. Um, how taxation will be addressed. A resident had questions about how their taxation rates might change going from the county to the village. And I'll cover that on the next slide as something to discuss. But that was a great question to have raised. How or when municipal services and infrastructure may be extended or upgraded within the proposed annexation area. Um, Other community members brought up how the village is a bit at a disadvantage at this time, not having um, exposure off the two highways. Anyone driving along those areas doesn't necessarily see or is aware of the village's existence, and the ability to pull in potential vehicle traffic for businesses and visitors is not there at this time with no village footprint along the highways. Um, Others had questions about if they have rural or agricultural activities on their parcels, if those are allowed to continue. In this case, it was chickens and having livestock on properties. Uh, Others brought up how the new school site provides a wonderful opportunity to have the village grow, to not only bring in families but businesses that would be benefited from having a larger population base and vehicle traffic in an area. And how getting to and from the village and the proposed annexation area is impacted by access patterns on and off the highways. So all of this is brought up, and as much as we were able to provide answers to these questions, we, at the end of the day, are preparing a report that will be shared with the county as well, and as well as the Land and Property Rights Tribunal with all of these questions and concerns. And the village will be working to address how to cover some of these concerns and opportunities at the end of the day, how they can be addressed so that the annexation uh, addresses the needs of residents and in this area. As part of the annexation application report, just kind of leading into what I was just mentioning, the village can propose and identify negotiated items and conditions that may be requested by the village itself, Smoky Lake County, landowners and community members, or services providers. And these are things that address those concerns and feedback in a way that alleviates concerns and ensures that the transition happens as smoothly as possible. And just going from a few examples of other annexations that we've helped other municipalities with, this can include things like honoring the lower of two municipalities' fees for development permit applications. So if in Smoky Lake County they're charging $500 for something, and the village is charging $600 for something, that the county's rate will be honored for a period of time or until a triggering event occurs, like subdivision or redevelopment on a site. Other examples that we've experienced include honoring one municipality's landfill uh, ticket permitting systems or recycling fees over the others. In one case, we know of one municipality that the the county that was being annexed from had a really good deal for rural residents on dropping off their garbage and recycling materials. And basically, this just led the town at that time to honor those tickets and fees for a period of time. Uh, as well, identifying that existing private water sanitary systems would be able to continue until either services are extended or a period of time is up or a triggering event occurs. Identifying what road maintenance standards would be within the area, again, until redevelopment happens or there is a increase in development within the area. Uh, as well, compensation for infrastructure improvements or loss of tax revenue on the part of a municipality. So if the county felt like they needed compensation for removing infrastructure or loss of tax revenue, the village could help identify what um, that effectively tax collected within that area over a period of time would continue to go to the county until either, again, a triggering event occurred or a period of time was up. So, and I know the village has been identifying some of these with the county over the last little while, and tax revenue is a bit of one that the village is, um, able to alleviate the county's concern on that. Just recognizing that this isn't a look isn't something that the village is looking to do for the purposes of getting tax revenue. But given all of that, they are looking to just develop and have a sustainable growth base. So, going a bit more into the county and the village and their discussions, both councils have been meeting throughout this process since 2024, and have had discussions about what issues that the county might have or the village might have, and have been working those out in an open and honest um, framework that honestly has been great to see. And the transparency on both sides has been um, very, very open and honest, so that both municipalities are um, clear in terms of what both sides are feeling is would be fair conditions and negotiated items in the application report as it may be submitted to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal in the future. The village, um, as part of all of this, has requested that the county identify what some conditions and negotiated items would be. The county has provided those back, and the village has been working behind the scenes with council to provide resolution to those concerns. At the end of the day, not all of them may be resolved, at the time the application is submitted to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal. And as part of their job, the Land and Property Rights Tribunal may be needed to help mediate or help decide exactly what those conditions and negotiated items might look like at the end of the day. But both parties, the county and the village, have been kind of working back and forth to pick these off and find a level of conditions that both municipalities feel is appropriate for this proposed annexation. Next steps in this process, and I will just mention that this is, I think, the last slide in the process, and then we can allow folks to kind of unmute themselves. And if anyone has any questions, we're happy to continue this dialogue and have um, provide answers to any questions you might have, or just take down what your concerns and objections or support may be for the proposed annexation. Uh, Again, at the end of the day, we're not expecting everyone to have their formal, polished final opinion of the proposed annexation. We just wanted to give everyone the opportunity to learn about the process, learn about the purpose of it, and what the steps are in the process. So after this meeting today, the village will be gathering all the feedback that we received at the in-person open house, at this online information session, through all the emails and letters and phone calls that we've been getting. And we're going to share that with the county for their information, so that they know what was brought up by their residents and their community members as well. And so that they have that information as they continued dialogue with the village on the proposed annexation. Um, if required, the village will be going through that feedback as well, and looking to prepare some solutions and conditions to address any of the feedback and concern received. And as that process kind of works out, if needed, the village and the county will be engaging together again to discuss those concerns and propose solutions, uh, to see if that addresses any of the concerns on the county's part for either what was raised at the engagement, or what the county has identified to date. Um, Once all of that kind of gets put together, the village will be putting together a draft annexation report for the Land and Property Rights Tribunal eventually. The village will share that report with Smoky Lake County, and have it available on their website for folks to have a look at before it goes to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal, or I guess concurrently with the Land and Property Rights Tribunal. So it's an open process at that point. As part of the report, it'll include all the feedback that we received, and how the village has adjusted their application to address concerns and feedback that was received. Um, and kind of echoing back to the steps that we were showing earlier before, the Land and Property Rights Tribunal will review the report and determine whether a hearing is required. If a hearing is required, they'll hold that hearing, and all of that will be advertised in the local newspaper, on the Land and Property Rights Tribunal's website. And if anyone submits any letters to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal, I believe they keep that contact information, whether it's in email form or in letter form, and lets them know about the hearing and how to attend. In my experience, those hearings are online, through, um, I forget which application it is, whether it's Zoom or Cisco, or whatever the proprietary platform is of the province. But in my experiences, I think most of them have been online. So that'll be an online hearing where anyone can make testimony before the Land and Property Rights Tribunal. And from that, they'll provide their recommendation to council for either approval or refusal. And at the end of the day, the proposed annexation will be approved or refused by the province. So with that, I just want to first say thanks to everyone for attending. Um, I am recording this for the village so that they can post it on their website as a YouTube link for anyone that either was unable to attend, had to leave early or arrived late. Um, if anyone has any questions, we'll give everyone the opportunity to pose them either in the chat or through unmuting. But if you have questions as the days ahead are upon us, we're happy to continue this dialogue. If you want to reach out via email, I'm happy, Bernice at the Village is happy to receive any statements or questions that you might have. If you would prefer a phone call, you can reach me there as well. I just provided my email on here just because I thought that was easiest to take down. But through our website at munplan.ab.ca, you'll be able to find contact information for me by phone as well. So again, thanks for everyone for giving your time. I know winter's slowly making its way into the rear view, and the days are getting longer, and everyone has yard work and things like that to before them. And I just want to give a thanks to everyone for giving us your time. So with that, I will uh, allow folks to unmute themselves, but I'll be monitoring the chat as well if anyone has any questions. Not seeing any at the time. I just want to reiterate that, um, again, this is not intended to be kind of the last engagement with landowners, area residents, and other folks with interest in the proposed annexation. We're hoping that this was an opportunity for you to learn some information about annexation, the purpose of all of this, and inform your decisions and feedback that you provide us going forward. So I think in terms of timeline, we're happy to give folks the next few weeks to um, get in touch with myself or Bernice with your feedback. We're hoping to get something to the county later this spring in the form of a summary of feedback received so that they have all the information that the village has, and then the village can work with the county to finalize the application report. So I've still not seen anyone with any unmuting or hands raised or comments in the chat. Um, we can leave it here for this evening. Again, my name is Brad McDonald. Happy to receive emails. I know from some folks we've received emails already, but please feel free to reach out either phone or email, and we're happy to have that discussion. And if you have any information that you feel wasn't provided today, or if you have more detailed questions, happy to um, have that conversation as well. So with that, I will put an end to the meeting tonight. I want to thank everyone again for coming, and we will share the YouTube link with the village so that hopefully by the end of the week or first of next, it's up for everyone to have a view. So with that,
Thank you, Brad.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Very good, clear and concise presentation, and we appreciate all the work that you've done for us.
Thank you, Bernice. Thanks to you and council as well for your work on this too. So great. Everyone, have a great evening, and I look forward to receiving emails and phone calls in the days to come. Thank you.
Thank you.